Hi guys, welcome to my channel Creatively Expressive. My name is Amy and today I'm going to be sharing 6 modern farmhouse DIYs. These projects use budget-friendly items including products from the Dollar Tree and Dollar General, thrift store finds, and sell items that I found at Hobby Lobby and Walmart. Today I'm using a color scheme of white, turquoise, and gray, but you could easily recreate these projects in a color scheme that complements your own home decor. If you're interested in seeing how I created these projects, then please stick around. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm so glad you found me. And if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. And I just want to say that I really do appreciate your continued support. Now let's get started. Alright, so let's get started. So for our first project, I'm using this sign that I got at Goodwill a couple of years ago. The center part of the sign measures 12 by 12 inches and is removable. So I'm just going to remove that from the frame. And then I'm going to use this peel and stick tile that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I got lucky. It just also happens to measure 12 by 12 inches. So it fits perfectly on our sign without having to do anything to it. So I'm just going to peel that backing off and I'm just going to line it up with that sign and I'm just going to stick it on there. And now I'm taking this aqua colored chalk paint and I'm just going to paint that tile. And I think I did 2 or 3 coats. Just paint it as many coats as you need until you have good coverage and you can't see any of that silver anymore. And once that's dry, I'm going to take this dauber sponge brush thing that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to dry brush on some white chalk paint over those raised edges. And you just dip your little sponge brush into your paint and then tap it off a little bit onto your paper plate so there's not too much paint on there, and then you just rub it over those raised edges on that tile and you get this neat effect. And now, while that's drying, we're going to take this Hello wood cutout that I got from Walmart. I think it was about $1.50. And I'm painting it with some territorial beige. And once that's dry, I'm going to take some white chalk paint and I'm going to dry brush over that pretty heavily. I'm trying to mimic the look of the frame of our sign, where it's mostly white, but there's a little bit of brown peeking through here and there. So I'm trying to do that with this Hello wood cutout sign. So you can see it's mostly white, but there's just a little bit of brown here and there. And now we're just going to put our picture back together. I'm just trying to move those metal tacks out of my way. And now we're just pushing those back down so that our sign is secure inside the frame. And now that that's done, we're going to just glue that hello into the center of the sign. And I'm using this super glue adhesive gel that I got from Dollar Tree to do that. And that's all there is to our first project. What do you guys think? I think it was pretty easy to make, but I think it turned out really beautiful. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Now for our second project, I'm going to be using these 2 little bird figurines that I found at the Dollar General. They were $1 each. I think they're made from like cement or something. They're pretty heavy. And I'm going to paint them with that same aqua chalk paint that we used in our first project. So I'm just covering both birds with that aqua chalk paint until they're covered really well. I think it took about 2 coats. And now I'm taking this white finishing wax that I got from Walmart, and I'm just brushing it onto the birds with this, I think it's a chalk paint brush, and I'm just brushing it on, getting it into all those little grooves. And then once it's on there, I'm taking a paper towel and I'm just wiping off the excess so that the white wax is mostly just left in those grooves, just to give the birds some more detail and kind of an antiqued look. So I'm just doing that to both birds. I just brush that wax all over the bird, and then once it's on there, I wipe it off with that paper towel. And just do it as many times as you want until you feel like it's in those grooves pretty good and you like the look of it. And that was just a really quick happy with the way it project looked. But I think they turned out really cute. There is. What do you guys think? Now for project number 3, I'm using this round sign that I got at Hobby Lobby for 75% off. I think the sign is cute. It's really cute as is, but it was it just doesn't go with my kitchen decor, and it was kind of scuffed up, so I'm gonna change it. So I just sanded off that center sign area, and now I'm just taking some masking tape and I'm just taping around the edge so that I don't get any paint on that metal frame part. And then I'm just gonna paint the whole center sign with some white chalk paint until it's completely covered and you can't see any of that brown anymore. So just do as many coats as you need until you have good solid white coverage. So just paint it around the edge first, and now I'm filling in the center of it with a bigger brush. And once that's completely dry, I just peel away that masking tape. And now I found this, what do you call it, cut file on the Silhouette Design store. And I thought it was cute. So I just cut that out with my Silhouette Cameo 4. And now I'm just weeding it. And so I did this part of the sign with a lighter gray. And then I cut out my family name in a slightly darker gray. So now I'm just taking my transfer tape and putting that onto the transfer tape. And then I'm just cutting around it so that's easy to place on my sign. So I'm cutting it out in a circle so none of that transfer tape gets in my way. And now I'm just trying to mark the center of the sign so I can place my what do you call it? My vinyl in the correct spot, so I know where the top center of the sign is for when I hang it, so it hangs correctly. So now I just took a piece of parchment paper and put it in between that transfer tape and my sign so that I can get it placed correctly before it's stuck on the sign. And now I'm just slowly pulling that parchment paper away as I stick that vinyl down to my sign. And now I'm just going to peel away that transfer tape. And once that's on there, I'm going to do the same thing with our family name. I put it on a piece of parchment paper so that I can get it placed just the way I want it. and then I stick it down and pull away that parchment paper, and then just burnish our name onto the sign and peel away that transfer tape. And that's all there was to that sign. It was another quick and easy DIY, but I think it turned out really cute. What do you guys think? Now for project number 4, we're going to be using this love sign that I got at Dollar Tree a year ago, and I originally tried to paint it by hand with some chalk paint, but I didn't like the way it was getting covered, so I just put it away and forgot about it for a year. But now I'm taking some London Gray spray paint, and I cover that whole thing in that London Gray. And then once that's dry, we're going back with some white chalk paint, and I'm just going to dry brush over that whole sign with that white chalk paint. And I'm going to go pretty heavy so that it's mostly white, and there's just a little bit of that London Gray showing through here and there. So it looks like it's distressed and like farmhouse kind of look that I like so much. So I'm just dry brushing over the whole thing. You just keep going until you're happy with the coverage and the look of it. And once you're done dry brushing over the front of the sign, you're going to do the same things to the side of the sign and also the insides of those letters. And then once you're done with that, you're done with the entire project. It was a quick and easy way to dress up a Dollar Tree sign. What do you guys think? And now for project number 5, we're going to be using this family sign that I found at the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to take the sign apart by removing those staples from the back of the sign, which was kind of hard to do, I'm not going to lie. And once I have that apart, we're just going to take away that, I don't know, backing that was in there. It's not stuck to the sign at all, which is nice. So you don't have to do any extra work there. And now I'm taking these giant craft sticks that I got at Walmart, and I'm going to use those for the sign. But first, we're going to mark the sign into 4 equal spaced sections. So that's what I'm doing here. And I'm just marking it with a pencil. And then I'm using a pair of miter shears, and I put it to the 45-degree angle, and I'm just cutting those craft sticks to fit inside each of those sections that I sectioned off. And as you can see here, I messed up. I glued them on and I messed up, so I had to rip them off and start over again. But I cut one of those, and then once I had one cut, I just put it on top of another uncut piece and marked it, and I just made 4 equal sized pieces. And once I have those all cut, I'm just going to glue them on the sign with that wood glue inside my pencil markings. And I'm just lining the top of the stick up with the top of the sign and the bottom of the stick with the bottom of the sign. And I start with the middle pieces and then work my way out to the outer pieces. And I'm just using these little clamps that I got from Walmart, but they also have the same ones at the Dollar Tree. They're little pink ones. But I'm just clamping them down to my sign so that they can adhere to the sign. And I just leave those clamps on while I cut some more pieces. So for the next one, I just cut one end at a 45-degree angle, and then I put it down against my previous piece that's on there, and then I just hold it in place and then use a pencil to mark where I need to cut the other end of that stick. I hope that makes sense. And then once I have that first piece cut, I'm just going to use that first piece and stick it on to other craft sticks and use it to mark my other 4 pieces because they're all going to be the same size. And I have a lot of difficulty using these miter shears. People say they work really great, but I had a lot of difficulty using them. Let me know if you guys have them and if you think they're easy to use. I think they're kind of hard to use. I have to like put one end in and like get the indent in there, and then I have to turn it around and do the other side. I can't just do it in one go around. But here I'm getting all my pieces cut first and making sure they fit into that area. And then once I know they fit, I'm just gonna glue them down with some more wood glue. And they don't fit, I mean, they're not perfect as you can see, but the edge of that that top piece of the family part that we removed will cover up a little bit around the edges. So if your edges aren't perfect, that's okay. Just as long as it's almost right. If that makes sense. I can't talk, guys. So now I'm just gluing them down with that wood glue, and then once I have it glued down, I'm just using those clamps again to clamp them into place. And this glue, it sets pretty fast. I mean, I know it's not gonna be 100% dry, but it sets pretty fast. So I just have them clamped, and then I go and cut my other pieces, and then by the time I'm done cutting the other pieces, they're pretty well stuck on there, so then I don't need to leave the clamps on any longer. So I just keep doing this same thing for the whole sign. I just take my, for the next row, you just take another stick, and you cut one end at a 45-degree angle, and then you line it up and use your sign to mark it off with a pencil and cut it. And you just keep repeating until the whole thing is covered with that like chevron looking print. And now we're just taking some white paint, and we're going to paint that family area of the sign white, and then also the side pieces. With the side pieces, the finish was like kind of shiny, and the paint didn't want to adhere to it very well, so I had to sand those pieces first before I painted them. And now I'm just taking an X-Acto knife, and I'm cutting off that extra wood that didn't fit perfectly on that sign so that we don't have any overhang. And then I'm just going to sand around the edges so that it's pretty lined up and even with that original sign piece. And now we're taking that same aqua chalk paint that I've been using in all my projects, and I'm mixing it with a little bit of water. I'm watering it down a little bit to make more like a wash or like a stain. And we're just going to brush that over our wood background that we made with those craft sticks. And then once I brush it on, I take a paper towel and I wipe off the excess so it kind of looks stained. And then once we do that, we're going to go back in with that same watered down paint, but we're just going to paint over every other piece on the sign. So for the first row, we're doing the second one down, and then skipping one and going to the next one and painting that one. And for these ones, we're not gonna brush off the excess. We're just gonna leave it the way it is. And so then for the next row, instead of starting with the second one down, I'm starting with the top one, and then I'm going to go every other one. And it's going to create like a herringbone effect. It's kind of like chevron, but instead of the same pieces that line up together being painted that darker color, they're going to be like, I don't know, off, like one off. Which, when you're quilting, they call that look a herringbone, not a chevron. So that's the look I'm going for here. So every other one is going to be like a darker shade of that turquoise. And then they're going to be off-centered. I'm totally rambling and I make absolutely no sense, I think, but you guys can see the look there. So now I'm just taking that family sign and I'm just going to distress a little bit with a little piece of sandpaper around the edges of the words, just so it, like, a little bit of brown is peeking through. And now once we're done with that, we're just going to glue all our pieces back together. So first I'm just gluing the whole front part together, gluing that frame back to the front family sign. And I'm using these clamps that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm putting a little piece of felt in between my sign and the clamps, just so the clamps don't damage my sign at all. And once we have that all glued back together and it's dry, now we're just going to glue that onto the back of the sign. And once I have that on there, then I just use those clamps and the felt again, just to hold that in place while it dries. And once it's dry, there's a little bit of blue around the edges showing through, so I'm just going to clean that up with some more white paint. And that's it. What do you guys think? I love this one. I think it is so stinking cute. And now for our last project, I'm using this wood sign that I found at Walmart. It was on closeout for like $5 and some change. And then I'm also using these laser wood cutouts that I got from the Dollar Tree. And then I also cut this out on some gray vinyl with my Silhouette Cameo. So now we're just going to use that same aqua colored chalk paint that we've been using throughout the whole video. And I'm just going to paint that little home wood cutout with that aqua chalk paint. And once that's dry, I'm going to go back in with some white paint, and I'm just going to lightly dry brush on that white chalk paint, or I mean the white acrylic paint, just to give it kind of like an aged antique look. And I'm just going really light on this one with that dry brushing. And now I'm just going to use some masking tape just to mask off a straight line across my sign so that it makes it easier for me to place on my words and they're straight. And then I go back in with that blue painter's tape because I couldn't really see through that parchment paper with that yellow tape, so I put some blue tape on and that made it easier to see. And then I just put my vinyl down along the edge of that tape, and then we're just going to burnish it on there and then remove that transfer tape. And then I marked it off again with some more tape so that I could line up that home sign so it could be straight and it could be centered. And I didn't have to think about it once I have that glue on the back of my wood cutout. And so then I'm just taking some wood glue and I put it on the back of that. And then I just push it down and then I remove that tape. And then I'm just going to put a heavy book on top of that and let it sit overnight to dry. And that's all there is to this project. What do you guys think? I think this one is really cute. And that's it, guys. That's all the projects. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please leave a comment and let me know which one was your favorite. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. And that's it for now, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye! Made. They're made with budget-friendly items. These projects, yeah, projects. Great for all of my projects, but these can... items are made from projects. these projects, not items. Amy, and today I'm going But all of the projects can be can't say the word. But all of the projects can be recreated in colors that complement your own home decor. Can be easily recreated in colors that complement your own home decor. If you're interested in seeing how I make these projects, please stick around. Guys, welcome to my channel, Easily recreate these projects in a color scheme that suits your